but since you guys are talking about that, we'll touch on this real quick.
What up, fellas?
So you'll see the patience of THOR too. So, we had the entry zone here with the short, entry zone here with the short, entry zone here with the short. And all of them have played out. Like, us as traders and everything talking about setting stop losses and, trying to fully maintain our bags versus THOR being very, very conservative and a spot trade, I doubt it, reversed its position on these shorts, right? And you see this long or this short, and then eventually this here. They all filled take profit all at the same time.
Yeah.
And that's the patience of THOR. And dude, Sile does the same thing. And it's crazy when he talks about it. It's like, how, dude? How did you not anywhere capitulate or change your mind? It's like, it's math.
Bro.
That's what he says. It's trade your plan, or plan your trade your plan. It's math,
Dude, I was asking Sile, I was like, so I took that 142 short, right? And I'm like, would it be, I didn't know if it was a good idea to either put stop loss in front of profit or break even. But he was just like, wait until the 4 hour, the 4 hour time frame closes out, and sure enough, that shit just kept dropping, and then it just. You're right. His style of trading.
You gotta wait for him to close out. But we got a good bit of people in here, so let me go ahead start this event, and we will get this shit fired up. All right. Yep, we're live. All right. Welcome, y'all. Appreciate you joining. And many of you joined for what was Trader Tuesday, and which is now Marketflow. That's what we're going to call it. Marketflow, powered by THOR and presented by Mode. So one of the things I'd like to do, we'll talk about and touch on this a little bit later, but we all know the good old the FF, right? The frogs fuck. Well, what I want to do is not only push the FF like we have, but I want to, as we are making trades and we are making gains, I want people, when they tweet and everything, to put MF THOR, Marketflow THOR. But I mean, it's kind of catchy, right? When you say it's motherfucking THOR, right? Let's print motherfucking THOR.
No doubt.
So, Mode fuck.
Yeah, I think it's going to be cool. I think it's going to bring a little more attention to frogs and the power of THOR, right?
Motherfucking frogs fuck, boy.
Frogs fuck.
Motherfucking frogs the fuck. But so yeah, it's what I always say is frogs fuck THOR prints. But yeah, so that's what we're gonna call it, is Marketflow. Because that's really what my trend analysis, if you will, TA, the way I view the market, the way I try to present how I see the market, is going with the flow, right? The trend is your friend until the end, right? So going with the flow of the market is the way, or at least understanding the flow of the market, where you are at in the flow of the market is important. And then you have THOR to give you the levels and the points and, the targets, if you will, right? It's okay. It's great to understand, okay, yeah, we're in a downtrend. Well, what's the next target I'm looking for, right? Okay, awesome. I bought. We're now on an uptrend. What's the target I'm looking for is when I should take out profits or, diversify, right? So trading is a game of levels, right? Time and patience as it moves, time and levels, and the patience to let it do so. So my trend analysis, and again, the way I try to present it is following or at least understanding where you are in the flow and using THOR as targets and data points to where we can then look to either enter or exit our trades or whatever it may be, right? So that's kind of, it's kind of been this way for the entire time we've been here, and it's just kind of fucking wild to me that here we are. This is the first market flow, the first Tuesday, and this is kind of like the first true week of euphoria in the bull, right? We didn't have this last week. Last week when we were talking, we're like, man, are we going to go up or are we going to go down? I guess we'll find out. We're testing that support right now. We went fucking ballistic, right? So it's just really interesting to me that the very first market flow is right here with the beginning of what looks like a real bull. Like the bull is back. We are running. So it's going to be fun, but it's going to be very, very similar to what we were doing in Trader Tuesday and everything else. I just want to develop a little more with the marketing, develop a little bit more with a weekly theme. Of course, the first week is always going to be the Trader 101, which tonight will be as well, and we'll get into that as well. Just all the way back to the basics, right? Back to the fucking fundamentals, the very bottom of understanding what you need to in trading and the very basics of what you need to use THOR. We will certainly get into that. That's what the Trader 101 is for. But continuing with the intro, I'm also from there on, I'm going to, pick a session to go over, say, trend lines more, or go over specifically what are these fucking candles? How do they print? I see reds and I see greens and I see, these lines off of them. What the hell am I looking at? We'll talk about that on sessions. How to identify trends. I was with some community members today and went over identifying trends and placing trend lines and everything else. And it's just when you put all the pieces together, a lot can happen. And I know a lot of you guys and girls have already learned a lot. What you post in Frogs proves it. What I get in DMs proves it. And I just think it's pretty fucking awesome that for several weeks, or many of us now, several months, we have been here as a group learning how to trade, and we are going to be educated for this bull. We are going to know our levels, our targets. We are going to understand how to play the game and not get stuck holding the bags, right? This is when we build our fucking wealth. So like I said, to me, it's just really fucking cool that we've been working up to this as a community. And as soon as I decide, hey, we're going to rebrand, we're going to do things a little different, fire shit up, the bull fires up with it. So I'm going to add in Thursday mornings at 10 a.m. EST. That is going to be the additional session for the week. and that way I can kind of cover 2 time zones. And, for the most part, it's going to be very similar. Whatever the theme is, for instance, this is the 101. Well, this Thursday morning is going to be the 101. So whatever the theme of that session is for that week, it's going to carry on from Tuesday night into Thursday morning. But yeah, it's going to be very similar to what we've been doing here as a group. We're just going to fucking amp shit up a bit. Any questions about, just Marketflow and, what we're doing here in general before we go ahead and get started with the Trader 101 session?
Frogs fuck.
You damn right, Frogs fuck.
It beat me to it.
I was waiting on it.
All right, perfect. Let's get to this shit then. Give me just a moment here. Welcome. I see, of course, a lot of the same faces, but I see some new people as well. Just be aware that, since we are going to be recording this and it is kind of like a bit of a demonstration, I do try to keep it somewhat on the rails, which me keeping things in track is already kind of a somewhat lost cause. But so I try to keep it somewhat on focus, but I'm willing to answer any question. Okay, let me put it this way. It's an open session, right? I want everyone to be able to ask questions, be involved. Like I promote you to ask questions and be involved, right? But I am trying to keep it somewhat organized and on the rails since, in the future, these will be recorded and presented. But yeah, please ask questions. Snooze, what's up? You new here? Welcome. We're going to teach you, just the basics of trading, no matter what level you're on. Hopefully the fundamentals we review help you and give you the basics of THOR, which whether trading or looking at charts or not, it doesn't matter. You can use THOR, but we will go over the charts as well. We do that every session kind of as a group. But welcome to all that are new. All right, let me pull this shit up here. Marketflow, what you guys think? What do you think of the MF THOR for tags on Twitter and our gains? You know what I mean?
That's a good ring to it.
Catchy, right?
It's smart and it catches people off guard because they're like, are they saying motherfucker or what?
Yeah, motherfucking THOR, but no, this is Marketflow. Like, pay attention, bro. Get with it.
It initiates the engagement, which is very smart.
No, it is not motherfucking THOR. You are ridiculous. But anyway, frogs fuck. Let's continue. We're being reasonable here, okay? Give me 1 second.
Frogs fuck.
All right, can you guys see that? You guys see the picture for Marketflow?
Yeah.
This is something dope that Rumpty worked up for me. Things are going to change and evolve, but this is fucking sick. I love it. This is kind of what we're about, understanding that there is a market maker, understanding that there is a pattern and a flow to this system, and taking advantage of it, right? That's what we are here to do. And THOR is literally the most powerful tool I have found to do so in my years of staring at charts. So,
Dude,
Rumsey,
real
you're
quick,
the man.
just to bounce off of that real quick, it's almost scary how like calculated Thor is just off of today's movement and in yesterday's even. I was just like dumbfounded by the last second like minute calls it made for
Dude, it is
for those pump fakes, dude. I was
exactly.
it's crazy. It's crazy.
That's why when you take out the emotion and you just look at numbers, which is exactly what Thor does, it is powerful as fuck. Like Thor prints, it makes some insanely accurate calls. And if you look at the data of it, it proves itself on how often the calls trigger and how often they then hit take profit, what we consider a successful call. We've got some members on the team that are doing data and analytics for us now that are, say you've seen some of the newer tweets and posts and things that show exactly where things trigger and all, which is pretty fucking awesome. But yeah, so I see a couple more people have just joined in. Just retouch. Trader 101 session. This is the basics, right? The very beginning, the ground up. And we're going to teach you just basic terminology tonight of what we are talking about in these future sessions, what these words and icons mean on Thor. So you know what you are doing. It's actually pretty simple. I mean, the last thing I want to do is make trading seem more confusing than it is. And if you see my charts, you're going to be like, whoa, what the fuck is that? But you don't need to understand that. And if you're here with me from week to week, they'll make sense to you too. But you don't need to understand that. And that's not what tonight is about. Tonight is about the basics, the terminologies from the ground up, and then just simply how do I use Thor? And then we'll lightly touch on some charts just from the sessions we've talked about. And because we're in a ripping fucking market, how can we not talk about the charts and price action, right? So
this is like the biggest crowd we've had, bro. Let's go.
I know, this is awesome.
You're attracting value, man.
man.
Like you're providing value, and this is direct impact. You can see it right there. It's awesome.
Yeah, this is dope. Glad to have everyone join. And this is the 101 session, and then these 101 sessions will occur the first Tuesday and consecutive Thursday of each month. So if you have friends, like hopefully you learn a lot tonight and throughout the next sessions through this month. If you have friends getting in, anytime's a great time. But catching these first sessions is always ideal if you can. So yeah, let's just dive into it. Hopefully I got all my slides in order here for you. But we're gonna start with just the straight up degen terminology, right? Like if you go look up definitions on Google or wherever, it's gonna have different who's that?
Throw it away before.
Oh, Maxie, if you don't mind, you're hot micing, bro. So if you go look up definitions,
I know, but it's not good for the drain. If you could simply just throw it away.
I'm gonna mute him real quick.
Maybe Veloci can do it. I think Veloci's in here. Yeah, he's got it. Or you can do it, Mode.
Thanks, bro. Okay, so as I was saying, if you go on to Google or a real trading class or something, you're gonna get different definitions. You're here with Mode on Tuesday night I draw lines on charts and say fuck a lot. So here you go. This is degen terminology, right? As long as you understand that this is where we're at. Okay. So what does spot mean? When we say spot trading, spot means purchasing or selling the actual asset, not a contract, not a perpetual, not a future, not a contract or price equivalent, but the asset itself. What does that mean? If I spot buy Solana, I can move that Solana into AutoThor. I can go buy an NFT with that. I can go do degen coin flip. I can go stake it. I can do whatever I want with it because it's real actual Solana I own. Now, if I purchase a contract, a perpetual for Solana, a contract, usually in the form of future or perpetual, represents just the price action and value of the asset, but is not the asset itself. Meaning, if I buy Solana at $100 on my perpetual and it goes up to wherever it goes, all I can do is sell that Solana, right? I don't own actual Solana. I just own a contract that is equivalent to the same price action of Solana. Well, what's the purpose of that? Well, then you can apply leverage on it. You can apply, if when sells, if it gets to this price, sell it. But it's not real Solana that you can choose to move about and everything else. That would be spot. What is leverage when you're adding leverage to a contract? First off, we're not going to advocate leverage here. That's not what this is about. We're not fucking moon boys. We are here to make bags and make bags consistently, right? Small gains compounding with smaller losses equals up to big wins. We're not here for fucking moon bags. I'm not going to advocate that. This, that's not what THOR is for. Yes, you can use it for that, and there are strategies, and we will talk about it, but that's not what I'm going to advocate here. Just let me be clear on that. This ain't moon boy shit. But leverage is essentially adding a multiplier to the price action. So, example, if you have 5x leverage and Solana goes up 1%, your contract has now given you 5% profits, right? Vice versa, let's say you do 5x leverage on a long and Solana goes up 20%. You've made 100% profit. Congrats. Now, if Solana, that same 5x leverage, if it goes down 20%, 5 times 20, that's 100. You've lost 100% of your money. You have lost that position and your money entirely. It's not like spot. If you buy spot and you actually own it, up or down, you can hold it forever, do what you will, but contracts are not the same. So keep that in mind. Any questions on this slide right here? What is the difference between spot, contract, leverage? Any questions on this specifically? Word. Shouldn't be too difficult. I try to break it down pretty easy. But again, this is the basics. If people don't understand this, I get it. If I thought this was unnecessary, I wouldn't have even included this in to talk about. But this is stuff I know people have questions on because I had fucking questions on it. Okay. Wait, did I skip 2? I think I did. Man, somewhere I did have another one. All right, so I have another one somewhere. Give me 1 second to find it. because this isn't the one I want next. The one I want next talks about longs and shorts. And I don't see it at the moment. Motherfucker. I thought I had all of them, but I don't, apparently.
All right. There.
Here we go. I found it. We'll just look at this for right now.
Hi. Good boy.
Okay, so next we talked about the difference between spot. We talked about the difference between a contract, right? And leverage can be applied to a contract. Contracts are simply just price action. Spot is owning the actual asset. You do what you want. Decentralized. That's what we're about in crypto. Let's fucking go. Okay, so when we say go long or THOR has made a long call, what does that mean? Purchasing an asset with the expectation that price will increase, right? You buy low, hoping it goes up in price to sell high or just be more valuable. That means you're in a long position. Price go up, right? Now, a short position, to go short means to sell an asset or to open a contract with the expectation that price will decrease, right? So if you are, let's say you think Solana's at the top, you sell a little bit of your Solana, selling an asset with the expectation that price will decrease and you'll be able to buy it cheaper, right? Or you purchase a contract saying, hey, the price of Solana is going to go down. You close that contract when price has gone down and you are in profit. What does TP mean? Exactly that. Take profit, right? Closing a trade or at least a portion of your trade for profit, right? THOR, you will see when we look at THOR, it labels them as TP1, TP2, TP3. So before we move on real quick, what do I mean by this? Like, let's say you buy 10 Solana at $100. I'm just using easy round numbers here. You buy 10 Solana at $100. Solana hits 120. Well, instead of selling all 10 of your Solana, maybe you sell 3 of them, right? Maybe when it hits 130, you sell another 3. Now, when it hits 140, you sell the remaining 4, right? So you took profits on the way up in case it went backwards or you could scale back in, but you were still in the market, right? So to take profit is the closing a trade or just a portion of for profit. SL, you will see THOR marks SL as in the form of stop loss. That is closing a trade or at least a portion of that trade to prevent further loss. So same example, I bought 10 Solana at $100. I want to sell it at 120, 130, and 140. That's my goal, right? Well, if Solana goes below $95, you know what? Just sell all of it. Get me out of that position before I lose any more of my money, right? That's what a stop loss is. It's to get you out of your position if, you know, the market is going against the way you think your call is. Because I'm telling you now, taking a stop loss isn't necessarily a bad thing, right? You're not always going to get every trade right. Hitting a stop loss at first is going to hurt a little bit, but it will not hurt as bad as the regret of watching your bags continue to drop or getting left holding the bag. Stop losses don't hurt as much as regret. Trust me. That's why they're important. It's one of the most important things that we will talk about, that we will advocate here on the Tuesday Trader is risk management, which using a stop loss can be part of risk management. Doesn't mean you'll always have to use a stop loss, but you have to understand risk management, and that can be a big part of it. Okay. Which is what we're going to talk about here. You'll hear us talk about DCA, which is dollar cost average. That is purchasing or selling to change the average cost of a current position or holding, right? So again, just round numbers. Wow, 30 USD. Remember back when we started this and Solana's between 10 and 30 bucks? Let's fucking go. So the example is if you buy 10 SOL at $30 and Solana drops to $20, you buy an additional 10 SOL. You now own 20 SOL with the average cost of only 25. Your original cost was 30. But since you dollar cost average, you bought going on the way down, you brought your initial buy down. So, again, you bought 10 SOL at 30. Solana drops to 20, so you buy an additional 10. Now, so on average, you now own 20 SOL with the average cost of 25. So again, let's say THOR is calling you to enter long. Make a long entry between $90 and $100, right? So again, you're trying to go long between 90 and 100 with the expectation it'll go back up to 140. That's your goal of this trade, right? So let's say you have $50 that you want to spend. You can spend $10 when Solana hits 100, $20 when Solana hits 95, and $20 when Solana gets down to 90. And now you've dollar cost average. You've bought your way down because maybe it'll only hit 100 and never get down to 90, right? Maybe it'll get down to 95 and you didn't want to spend your whole bag at 100 if you could have bought it at 95. So it's a way to scale in, right? So scaling in and scaling out, like take profit 1, take profit 2, take profit 3. That's scaling out of a position. So you DCA in to lower your entry cost and you scale out to maximize profits. Now, one of the most important things I'm going to talk about tonight is right now, and that is risk management, risk versus reward management. This is the most important thing to understand. You can be wrong more than 50% of the time on your trades. You can be wrong. You can say, oh, it's going up and it go down. You can say it's going down and it going up and be wrong more than 50% of the time and still be profitable.
Yeah, I'll get it for you.
With good risk management. So risk to reward management, what that is calculating, understanding, and ultimately accepting the risk versus the reward for a potential of a trade before you make that trade, right? So before you place a trade, you need to determine how much are you willing to lose or risk for each trade, and is the potential profit worth what you are looking at risking, right? So again, and you got two types of risk management. You have portfolio management and you have trade management. So an example for this, let's say you have a $500 trading account, right? You don't want to go put $400 down on a single trade. That is bad management of your portfolio, right? If you've got $500, maybe you want to put $50 on a trade, right? So that's portfolio management, using a small portion of your portfolio per trade. Now, trade management, the risk to reward management in each potential trade is, of that $50, how much are you willing to lose? Maybe it's only $5, right? So of your $500, you are managing your risk by only using 50 of that at a time. And out of that 50 that you're using in this individual trade, you're not willing to lose more than, I'd say, $2, right? So that's portfolio management as well as trade management. And you need to calculate, okay, if I'm right, how much I'm going to make. Like if you think the top is right there, well, it's going to go up and test the top, I think. Okay, well, that's only a 3% gain. Is really that 3% gain if, we're potentially looking at losing our ass and you think the top's really going to be there in resistance, right? Or is you're like, well, I think we're going to break through this top. Well, then you have a greater up potential, right? You got to calculate what your gain is and what you are willing to give up. And are you willing to do so, right? Any questions on risk management before I move on? Because this is important. And we will show you how to calculate it. We'll show you how to understand what you're looking at. It's up to you then to accept it and place the trade or not. But we'll show you how to calculate and understand the risk to reward. But any questions on this before I move on? Because this is important, as I said.
No questions this way. Just wanted to emphasize on and how important it is to embody the risk management properties or principles rather.
Absolutely. You gotta protect your capital.
Yeah,
gotta
dude.
protect your capital.
For those who are new, just a little tidbit with my experience and with risk management. I can take accountability for my own actions. I personally sometimes have to learn the hard way to learn. And I have never gotten wrecked following the rules. Point blank.
Right.
I have only wrecked myself through improper risk. Let me just rephrase. Not using any risk management. Put it that way.
Right. Yeah, by not using risk management. I mean, you got to protect yourself, man.
Absolutely. It's very real, very important. So, Mode, I'll hand it off to you.
Appreciate you, bro. Any other questions? All right, we'll move on. We're going to touch on this again for sure. So you'll find that I'm going to repeat myself when it comes to risk management over and over, and that's for reason and purpose. All right. So when it comes to using THOR, when it comes to trading at all, but when it comes to using THOR, you'll see there's different time frames. And we need to understand what these time frames mean and why they are there. Right? So what the time frame of a chart means is the time frame of a chart represents the amount of time it takes for a single candle to open and close. So how long does it take for that candle to print before moving on to the next one? right? The importance of this is different time frames affect the amount of time maybe that you have to get in a trade and how long that trade may take, right? As well as how big the trades are. Now, keep in mind, there will always be exceptions and variations to what I'm about to show you, right? But this is the importance of understanding this. I think it'll help you tremendously. This is one of the things that got me wrecked early in my trading, was not understanding the difference of time frames, how to look at them. So, first question, I already know the question. So is a 15-minute mean I got 15 minutes to get in and it's going to hit profit in 15 minutes? No. No, a 15-minute chart or 15th order call does not mean you got 15 minutes to enter, or a trade will only take 15 minutes. Vice versa on the 4 hours. So what does it mean? THOR will make time frame calls on the 15-minute, the 1 hour, the 4 hour, and the daily charts. Now, again, when I give you these estimations, this is just an estimation. If it was always the same, trading would be too easy and there would be no need for me to host this stream or THOR to exist, right? But trading on the 15-minute time frame, your trade could potentially take, once it hits an entry point, it could potentially take a couple hours to a day, maybe two, to either hit the take profit or go the other direction. Trading on the 1 hour time frame, your trade could take potentially, after hitting entry zone, your trade could take a day to maybe that week. Maybe even up to 10 days to play out, say. The 4 hour chart, you're looking at several days to maybe a couple weeks, right? And then the daily, when you hit entry zone on the daily chart and the daily calls, they could often take a couple of weeks, or even we've seen it on stream, a couple of months for it to hit take profit zone. So usually the 15 minutes are going to be the smaller profit because it's looking at a very short-term up or down play, where the daily is looking at your longer-term, bigger up or down play, right? So not always, right? Again, there's variations and exception, but your 15-minute are usually going to be your fastest trades to play out, but your lowest profit points because they're the shortest moves. Then moving up, the 1 hour, they're going to take a little longer, give a little bit more profit. 4 hours are going to take a little longer, but give more profit. And that's the 4 hour and the daily. They're the ones that we're going to focus on week to week here on our trading streams, right? They give us the highest hit rate as far as THOR goes. And because they take several days to a couple weeks to play out, that's how often we meet. So it's perfect, right? So you'll see me talking about the 4 hours and the dailies. Any questions on these time frames before I move forward? Just another example, like if you're trying to jump on here tonight and make money, to buy tomorrow or this weekend, you want to be looking at 15-minute and 1 hour for the most part, right? Or even 4 hour. But like if you want to make money today, you're looking at 15-minute calls. If you're looking to make money by, the end of March, you're going to be looking at the daily calls. But you're not going to take a daily call hoping to close it within a couple hours, right?
Hey, Mode, I got a question.
Fire.
All right, so the daily calls obviously take longer to play out. And I was mentioning before stream with Abby how with all this crazy price action in the market, the 1 days and 4 hours have been firing off like crazy. And so my question is,
that's why they fall into the variations and exceptions. There will always be variations and exceptions.
okay, so with that, does a variation and exception such as crazy price action with a bull market like activity categorize as like one of those exceptions because
Absolutely.
percentages of assets can spike up as we've seen?
Yeah, because right now we're seeing right now. I would not consider normal price action, right? So
okay, yeah.
The market's doing something different, so it's one of the variations and exceptions in market movement we have to be aware of. Right.
It's kind of like thinking about like black swan events where things dive. It's just the inverse of that.
Or just like we saw that crazy dump. Well, that THOR daily call filled within like 1 4-hour candle, but that wasn't a normal dump, right? Like, because we're not in a normal pump. But this is where THOR thrives because it hits the data points so quickly between one and another.
I do want to say, Mode, like, I know there's a lot of people in here, and I know it can be, like, intimidating to unmute. This is a total safe space. You can ask literally, if you don't understand anything, the very basics, this is, especially First Tuesdays, this is the place where you feel free. There are no stupid questions. So, I didn't know shit, and that isn't a testament to Mode from 2 months ago, and now I was like talking to him on a call a few, minutes before this, and I'm like speaking another language. And that's because he makes it such a safe space to ask those questions. And you'll never feel stupid for asking your questions. So feel free to ask. Don't feel that pressure. This is a total safe space to ask those questions.
I appreciate that, man, and spot on, because look, if you're willing to help yourself, if you are here and putting in the time and genuinely want to learn, then I will genuinely take the time to help you understand. If you're here just like, show me how to just fucking, I don't want to do any work or anything, I just want to fucking Lambo. Well, there's plenty of YouTube channels and Moon Boys, like whatever. But if you really want to learn and are willing to help yourself, I'm willing to help you as well. For sure. So
we love and appreciate you, Mode,
if you don't want to speak up or have trouble speaking English, whatever, you can type in the chat here, and if I don't see it, somebody will bring it to my attention. So you can type in the chat as well.
Throw some fucking hearts up and some frog fucks. And this, I see the emojis blowing up.
Appreciate it. You'll hear me talk a lot about indicators, right? And, well, this is an indication of that. Or, well, this could be an indicator that this is a bottom. This could be an indicator that it's a top. This is an indicator of retest, whatever, right? So you'll hear me say it a lot, and you'll see a few different ones that I use on stream. And I do not want to confuse you right now. So if you're not into understanding the charts and everything yet, and you're just kind of want to learn how to use THOR, don't let what I'm about to go over confuse you and be like, okay, fuck, I'm lost. If you understand the charts and you want to pay attention more to what I'm doing on charts, These are the indicators that I use, and I will go over them pretty quickly. So first off, what is an indicator? And again, remember, this is DGen terminology, right? It's a sign that indicates the state or level of something, a gauge or meter of specific levels. Remember, I said the market is nothing more but levels and time, right? It's a transition between levels over time. That's market movement. That's market flow. So what do we want an indicator? How do we use indicators? We are using an indicator as something that indicates potential price action, right? Whether it's indicating the price go up or an indication price go down. That's basically what we're looking for, right? So the indicators that you will hear me talk about and use are trend lines that I will draw for both support and resistance. These are usually diagonal lines, and they will mark higher lows, higher highs, or lower lows, lower highs, etc. We'll get into that when we get into charts, and I'll explain this more in a moment. But trend lines is one of the biggest things that I use in my own TA, and if you look back in what was the Tuesday Trader Review, you'll see a lot of times our own TA calls hit really big for us based off of those trend lines alone. Now, RSI. I consider the RSI the FOMO meter. What is it? It's the relative strength index. It's basically, when you compare how many people are buying and how many people are selling and at what volume and how quickly, again, that time factor in there, it gives you what I consider a FOMO meter. Are people starting to FOMO in near the top, and it's an indicator that maybe we need to cool down? Or are people starting to paper hand near the bottom? And is that an indicator that, maybe I should begin to accumulate? The other thing we'll talk about is EMAs, which are basically estimated moving averages. It basically draws a line between points of what the average movement of cost is. So it doesn't, you'll see on the chart, it's a much more smoothed out line, and it's not so spiked, and kind of lets you know where the estimated average price is. We use them by looking, are the short and long terms crossing each other? Is price printing candles above them or below them? So is it using the moving average as support? Are we above what average is, or are we below what average is? And again, you don't really need to understand this if you just want to use THOR and not really look at charts. You don't need to understand charts to use THOR and make money. But for those that want to learn TA, this is just some of the 101 and a lot of what you will hear me talking about and mentioning as we go over our weekly trading sessions. Any questions on this? It's going to be hard to answer questions without showing the visuals. So I can definitely answer more questions on this when we get to the visual. But any questions on this right now? Word. Frogs fuck. Okay. So things to talk about and note before making a trade and an entry when we're looking at our own TA, right? Is what is the overall current trend that we're in? right? Are we in an uptrend, downtrend? Are we just kind of moving sideways, not really doing much? Where in the trend are we? What level are we, right? Because if we're in a bull market and price keeps going up, you don't want to be opening big shorts, right? And if you do, you at least want to have specified targets and levels to hit and take profits. You don't want to open an open-ended short with hopes during a bull market, and vice versa. If you're going down in a bear, you don't want to just start buying without at least having a point that you look to take profit or take a stop loss, right? So where in the trend are we? What kind of trend are we in? Where are we on the RSI, on the FOMO meter? Are we being oversold and we're down paper handed because so many people are selling? Or are we in that overbought territory where people are FOMOing and just buying it all up, right? Same with the EMAs. We're going to look at, are we finding support or resistance on them? And is price action respecting them to show that we're actually using them the way we should be? Now, as I draw trend lines, you'll hear me use definitions like some I just did, an uptrend, right? And a downtrend, and determining what type of trend that we're in, right? So here again is my degen terminology of what is an uptrend. To me, an uptrend is a series of higher lows and higher highs, right? Inversely, a downtrend is a series of lower highs and lower lows. So, okay, uptrend, a series of higher lows and higher highs. So what does that mean? What is a higher low? When the low point of price of an asset, basically, is higher than the last time we saw the low. Same with the high, that each time we see a high, it's higher than the last high, right? So if this is our low, and this is our next low, this is a higher low because it's higher than this one, right? Here's our next low. So this is a higher low because it's higher than the previous. If this is our high, right, and this is our next high, this is a higher high. So you see here we have a series of higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. That to me is the definition of an uptrend, higher lows, higher highs. Now, again, inversely, what is a downtrend? A series of lower highs and lower lows. So again, we're in an uptrend, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Our first indication that we may not be in an uptrend anymore is when we see a lower high. Lower low, lower high. Now we've connected the dots and we have our downtrend. Lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, until what happens? First indication, we have that higher low and higher high. Higher low, now we connect our dots and we have our uptrend, right? So I know this is kind of like, to me, this is very basic because I've looked at it so many times. And I tried to make it very basic. But I'll have these up so you can refer back to these definitions. Again, the uptrend is just that series of higher lows and higher highs. The downtrend, series of lower highs and lower lows, right? And when I talked about trend lines before of support, you see, each time we hit here, we found support on it and went up. Resistance, you see, each time we got near this line, we found resistance and went down. Now, I know this seems easy, but, or looks like, well, is that, like, that seems too easy. But I mean, you can ask people here that have been on the stream with Tuesday Trader with us, or how many times I've reviewed this about how well this can really work. And when we pair THOR up with it, our stream records on our calls have been exceptionally well, put it that way.
The trend is my friend until the end.
I was waiting for somebody to throw it.
You knew it.
I fucking love it. So I knew it. And that's the point. Understanding where in the trend you are and at what level you're at. Are you down here in these levels in the start of the trend? Or are you getting up here in these levels in this trend? Right? Understanding where in the trend you are and knowing that the trend is your friend until it ends. And the trend is your friend until it ends. Right? Understanding how to do this in my own TA has made the difference in me becoming a profitable trader that is, I think it looks like a good time to buy. I'm going to buy, and I hope it goes up and I get to take profits. Versus me understanding the levels of the market and the market flow and being able to take advantage of it. And using THOR to identify these points and levels while I know which kind of flow I'm in. Right? We'll touch on this a lot. You'll see me draw this a lot on the live charts and everything else. And again, all the definitions we're going over tonight, I will post in a review channel. So everything we talk about tonight, you'll be able to go back and look at on your own time if, because it's a lot to digest in one night. I get it.
Frogs fuck.
As far as indicators go and everything we've talked about and everything that I've shown you, the best indicator that I have found is THOR. Is this going to be on the final? It depends. Depends how many frogs you have. So THOR is the best indicator that I've found. It tells you where to enter, where to exit, and then use the risk management tool to help you determine stop loss and your take profit points, right? It can really be that simple, but you have to just understand risk management. So what do I mean by all this? If I'm saying, well, you don't have to understand the charts, you just need to understand risk management. When I'm saying, here are my charts, here's my charts that look kind of insane, and you're like, yeah, I have no idea what the fuck this is. You just confused the shit out of me now. You don't need to understand this. What you do need to understand, though, is here's a win, 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 and we just printed these three, right? So how do we then use them if you don't need to know how to look at the charts? That's what I'm going to get into now. How to use THOR without understanding all that crazy shit that I just showed you on my charts. And because this is a new, what I am calling a new stream, Marketflow, I'm going to start with fresh charts tonight, right? I am going to go back and look at our old charts just so you know, because a bunch of us have been here for several weeks and months going over those same charts, so we're going to look at them. But for the sake of what's that?
I said those charts run back since $20.
Hell yeah, dude! We've got some crazy shit.
Can we go back?
Yeah. So we've got. I will be going back to look at them, but I am going to be starting some new charts just so the people that are new here can do exactly the same thing on their charts, right? You guys, if you can have your trading view open, and you can use a free version of trading view, by the way, and set yours up just like mine are. You don't have to pay for it and get all the crazy shit. We're making this simple, right? And Thor makes it simple for you. So you don't have to pay for a bunch of crazy shit. You can even use the free versions. So I will be starting fresh charts. But if you just want to, hey, I don't understand charts, I just want to make some money in crypto and start trading, this is where Thor is going to come in for you. So we're going to go to Thor now, right? So you're going to select your wallet. You're going to log into Thor. And here we are. Oh, this is Thor Pro. I meant to just go to regular Thor. Give me a second. I'm going to log out real quick, and I'm going to go to regular Thor instead of Thor Pro. So we're looking at the same things. I want to show you guys from the basics, the very ground up, and I know a lot of you aren't going to have Thor Pro. So I want to show you exactly what you'll be looking at yourselves the same. Give me 1 second because I got to re-sign in. All right, so I'm going to select my wallet. I'm not going to click Thor Pro because I want to use just regular Thor right now.
So one thing I discovered, I think a couple months ago now, is that you can log in and use the same key until you reload.
You can. Once you have a key, you always use that same key. You don't need to get another.
Dude, I didn't know that shit for the longest.
Yeah. Once you get that key, you only need the key. It's a one-time thing. Okay. So now that we're logged into Thor, right? Here is where our assets are, right? And you see all the assets that Thor currently will give us access to trade, right? And you see how, like, Gecko, there's no asterisk next to it. Algorand, no asterisks. Atom or Cosmos, no asterisks. That means there's no calls made by Thor currently. When you do see an asterisk, so Sol USD, which is what we want to talk about, you see there's a couple asterisks next to it. That means there are calls for Thor right now. So we're going to select it.
Maybe it's just me, but I cannot see your drop-down menu.
Can you guys see it? Anyone else?
So I know what you mean, right? But
yeah, it's because you're sharing. It's because you're sharing your internet browser, and you're not sharing your screen. If you share your screen, you'll be able to see the drop downs. If you just share the browser, it won't show it.
Look at this, Rumpty teaching my boomer ass some more shit. Is that better?
Click it. Yeah, now we can see it.
Okay. Thanks. All right. Thank you. Thanks, bro. I appreciate you.
Oh yeah.
Abby's one that's been here with us for a long time and doing well off Trader Tuesday as well. And using Thor. So appreciate you, bro.
I love you. Making money is fun.
Frogs, Fox, Thor, Prince. Let's go. So as I was saying, Gecko, you see there's no asterisks. Algorand, no asterisks. Atom, Cosmos, no asterisks. That means there's no current THOR call for that asset, right? So if I go down to Sol USD, you see there are asterisks. So I know, okay, we do have we do have some calls right now, so I'll pick it. Now, if I go here to the time frame, there's no asterisks at the 15-minute. Well, I got asterisks here at the 1 day, which means we got calls on the daily time frame. So I'll select daily. We'll go to the daily time frame. And you can see right here on the chart, we have 1, 2 daily calls. And if I go over here and look at longs, we've got 2 longs. The first one is saying if Solana drops to the price of $92.56 to $92.90, that's where you want to make an entry, and you want to look to take profit at $111.95. Do you see it? So this first call right here on this chart where you're seeing this this box for entry, that box is between $92.56 and $92.89. And if Solana hits there for a long, you're going to look to take profit at $111.95. Pretty simple. Now, what is important, and this is very simple too, but it is very, very important to understand. When I explain this, when I say how important it is, I don't want to make it sound like, oh, fuck, now this is hard and make it seem scary. No, this is very fucking simple, but this is very important. So if you want to take this long call, right, you want to catch Solana between $92.56 and $92.90, and you want to take profit at $111.95. You want to take this call, but you want to manage your risk, right? You want to protect yourself, not just buy and hope for the best. You're going to go over here to risk management, RM, and if you see what pops up, it says set up trade. So we're going to go to risk management. So this is where THOR tailors itself to you, right? You have to, what is your risk tolerance? And remember, we talked about portfolio management and we talked about trade management. We're going to use the same example we did earlier. I've got $500 in a trading account, right? I want to use somewhere around maybe $50 at a time, right? But I'm really not willing to lose, say, more than $3 per trade is the maximum amount to lose. Even though I have $500 to work with, this one individual trade, I don't want to lose more than $3 if I'm wrong, right? Because I'm managing my risk. So I'm going to go here into THOR and I'm going to type in 3. I'm going to type in the amount you are willing to risk. I'm willing to risk only $3 per trade. Calculate. Now, this is risk to reward. And basically, 1-to-1, if you're willing to give up 3 to make 3, 1-to-2, you're willing to give up 1, but make 6, right? I usually go at least for the middle, if not the 1-to-2. But just for our sake, we're just going to look at the middle examples right now, right? So what you're going to do, I'm going to close this again, and we're going to bring it back up exactly the same. I want to take this trade, right? I want to buy between $92.56 and $92.89. I want to sell at $111.95. Okay, how do I protect myself? Risk management. 3, I don't want to lose more than $3 per trade. Calculate. I'm going to go right here to the middle. Okay. So I'm going to buy 0.21 Solana at $92.56. I am going to sell that 0.21 Solana at $111.95. And I'm going to set my stop loss at $78.01. Your trade is set. You don't need to look at charts. You don't need to understand the levels, the time frames, everything that we went over. You don't need to understand any of that to understand how to use THOR. So again, let's look at it one more time, and we'll add a little more risk to it. Let's say I want to take, or let's look at this trade. So it's got a big entry point. It's got a huge take profit. What THOR is saying, if Solana drops and hits a zone between $29.80 and $39, if we drop between $29 and $39, expect us to retest up to about $79. So let's say I want to take this trade. I'm going to go to risk management. I'm going to enter. I don't want to lose more than $10 per trade. So I'm going to put in 10. Calculate. We'll go right here to the middle. Wow, stop loss at -7 because of how fucking giant a profit zone that is. I guess that one doesn't quite work because it's such an insane fucking call. It's basically saying you couldn't get stopped out if you're buying that low. You can't get stopped out comparative to take profit. So we'll look at this one again. We'll just go with the higher risk. So you want to buy Solana at $92.50, $92.90, sell it at $111. Risk management, we're going to say I don't want to lose more than $10 per trade. Calculate. So go here to the middle. I'm going to buy 0.69 SOL at $92.56. I'm going to sell that 0.69 SOL at $111.95. I'm going to set my stop loss at $78.01, and I'm fucking done. So all you need to know is how to manage your risk. K10, you can go ahead and just type it, just hop in and ask on voice, or you can type it in here if you can't jump on.
Okay, great. Can you hear me?
Yep, you're good. What's up?
Great. So with regard to risk management, it has a very specific meaning in TradFi, and I come from TradFi. So I think about when you allocate portions of your portfolio to certain things, risk management is a huge part of that. And they tell us, well, based on your age and your earning capacity and your earning trajectory, what you should do. I am curious as to how and if there could be some application for crypto, Web3, and coins for a risk management theory or thesis that is applicable. I know that we're totally completely inventing shit and we're just pulling shit out of our ass with Pepe, like whatever, and it's great, it's beautiful, but it's when we talk about the concept of risk management, I think it's a little tricky, especially for people like me who come from TradFi. So I was wondering if we could have maybe a more low-key, less, formal, not necessarily something as wonderful and detailed as this, but thinking about risk management from a Web3 standpoint as overall. And I'm so sorry to interrupt this glorious presentation. I'm having a wonderful time.
No, you're not interrupting at all. But I'm glad to interact and ask questions. And my thing is, if someone has the question, I'm sure others have the question as well. So You are definitely one talking about traditional finance and their risk management, but when you are looking at their gains, right? They're talking about, 8% a year is fucking amazing. 12% a year is amazing. We've got 4-hour calls that are 10-12%, and then we've got these degens in here putting 10-20x leverage on it, right? So
right. It's a completely different ballgame.
Yes,
and
we are in a completely different risk category to begin with. So that's why traditional finance risk management is, they look at this as absolutely insane, and it is, and that's why cat with fucking hat. Okay, throw your fucking you're smart,
bro. I saw that
right?
shit in
You
my
sound
wallet
smart.
randomly.
If you hit your head with a fucking hammer for a while, and then maybe you'll understand why cat with hat is running and why people are investing money into shit that they know
THOR,
is nothing.
right?
And it's not going to do anything, and yet it's pumping out the ass. You can't always use your brain in this space, right?
No, which is why THOR is such an amazing product. And I think it's got real applicability and draw to folks like me who come in and say, oh, hey, this is styled on a hedge fund. This is amazing. Look at how accurate it is. Everything is on chain. Holy shit, that's new. We can actually see the moves that they're making. So what I'm not saying in any way that we should look to TradFi. What I'm saying is that what the product that is here, the auto Thor that is here, and the manual Thor calls, for me, it's more about thinking, okay, how do we take the idea of risk management portfolio and allocate to different risk profiles? Is that possible? Well, Thor is our foundation here for the fact that, yes, in fact, it can be done. Risk management
because you can tailor it to you can tailor it to your individual risk tolerance. And I'll show you a step further. Let me go over another example of this, and then I'll actually go a step further and show you how you can insanely detail Thor to your own risk management, risk profile, tolerance, however you'd like to state it. But let me just pick another asset and go over this again. Bitcoin. You see Bitcoin.
Question?
What's up?
I'd like to ask a question about that, about what was just brought up about risk management and the direction you're heading here before you detail or show this example. Some of the risk management that I do for myself comes with research on bird eye, and some things I'm trying to figure out today as part of that is, what some of the higher meanings are for when a token is mintable or not mintable, when it's if the ownership of the token has not been relinquished and it's still held, and how is that significant to price action and the market. These are some things I'm trying to figure out, and it's great to be able to come to spaces like this. By the way, throwing flowers your guys' way. I've never got to talk to you guys, but came in with Bored Ape Solana Club and am very happy to be here. I love my frog, man. Thanks.
Glad to have you join, man.
Frogs fuck.
So Thor is the way Thor is teaching, advocating, and trading is you're always going to see it as take profit points, right? So what you are talking about is going to come much more in an investment state of mind and standpoint, and long-term looking at what a token's going to do upon release, what supply's at, all those type of things. THOR is taking in the data and analytics and doing math and then calculating the probabilities. And if probabilities within a certain data range are high enough, then it will print it as a call with a take profit point that has data points with enough probability. So, you know, it's not really looking at things as a fundamental or macro standpoint. Like, you know, it'll tell you where to get in and out of shit coins. It's not nothing as far as like, oh, this is an investment strategy, if that makes sense.
Yep, that was good. Thank you.
Yep. And now if you use the auto THOR for investment, this is a slight digression, but if you use the auto THOR, its goal is to accumulate more Solana, right? So it is an investment strategy to accumulate more SOL over time, but it's up to you to decide if accumulating more Solana or Solana is something that you wish to invest in, right? So if Solana is something you wish to invest in, Auto THOR will help you accumulate a bigger bag. Now, I'm going to show another example of this, how to use the risk management tool. And then I'm going to go to THOR Pro just to show demonstration for K10 and everyone else about how you can create your risk tolerance profile even further. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to look at, we have one call here on the 15-minute chart for Bitcoin right now. You see it's posted right here. And what it's saying is if Bitcoin drops to below 62,100, enter between 62,100, 61,950, and look to take profit at 62,960, right? Risk management. We're going to go into risk management. We don't want to lose any more than, let's say we're a whale. We're trading pretty heavy, right? We've got a $10,000 trading account. I'm willing to lose $100 per trade because I have a $10,000 trading account. Calculate. So I'm going to buy 0.13 Bitcoin at that entry range that we showed, $61,950. I'm going to sell that 0.13 Bitcoin at $62,963, the TP1. If you want to go higher or scale out of your position, you can see there is a TP2 and 3, but we're looking at TP1 here. And we're going to set our stop loss at $61,188. There's your trade set up for Bitcoin within your personal risk tolerance. Right? So any trade for any asset you find, you know, you can pick any asset you want. Let's go bonk. We're going fucking degen. Let's look at bonk. Right?
Yeah, boy.
Fucking right. I love bonk. Let's go. You see, we've got some big long calls and entry zones down here for bonk, right? Same thing. Even though these numbers look ridiculous with all these zeros, risk management, I'm going to say $10. Calculate. All right. I know exactly how many bonk to buy, exactly where to sell that bonk, and exactly where to set my stop loss. Okay, moving on to the next trade. Boom. Let's go.
That are some juicy calls. put down.
Lots of calls are in here. Now let me go ahead and sign out again real quick. Rumpty teaching me shit. Go to screens, not the application. Got it. I'm going to use THOR Pro this time. Log in. Oh, maybe I need to. There we go. Okay. So now you see it's set up a little bit different. I'm just going to go to symbol and clear everything real quick. And I'm just going to select Solana to start with. Now, right now, we only have 2 long daily calls. Let me see if I can find something that has a mix of calls. Try and find some that's got a variety of shit. Of course, it's just. All right, where did I see? I think it was AVAX. All right, we'll just use this as an example for right now. Right? Let's say I'm not interested in going short. I only want to take longs. Well, I can turn shorts off, and it's only going to show me long calls. If I only want calls that are going to give me at least 5% profit or more, I can turn that on. I'm not looking for any long calls. I want to make money like right now, right? I don't got time for shit. I'm looking to print money within the next couple hours. Okay, well, there's no 15-minute calls. Or say, I'm not looking to buy in and buy out tonight. I'm only trying to make money, over the course of this month or next couple months. I can turn the short terms off. But you see how you can change your risk tolerance based on whatever your trading profile is. Unfortunately, I can't find anything that has a whole bunch of calls to go through because this market's so fucking insane right now. We don't have any real short calls to look at. But you can see how you can choose your own risk profile, your own trading style. Like, I'm a long-term trader. I'm not looking to trade short-term, so I'm getting rid of the short-term. I'm not looking to go shorts. I'm just trying to buy stuff when it's low and then sell stuff when it's high, right? I only want calls that are going to give me at least 10%. And I'm willing to trade any asset. All right, here you go. Here's all the calls THOR is making right now to go long that are long-term calls that are going to give you 10% or more. You could buy Link between $15.57 and sell it at 17. You can look to buy Solana at 92, sell at 111. You could go to Kasama. You could go to AVAX. You could go to Polkadot. You could go to Rune. Arbitrum. Any of these assets, Matic, all these assets right now are THOR calls that fall in your parameter of I want 10% profit and I want it to be long-term and I want it to be I'm buying low in order to sell high. There you go. So, and then again, any of these calls, I like the sound of this Link call. Risk management. I don't want to lose more than $5. Calculate. Okay. I know how many Link I'm buying. I'm buying my 2.79 Link at this price. I'm selling my 2.79 Link at this price. I'm setting my stop loss at this price. Boom, my trade is set. Let's rock on to the next one. AVAX. Okay, $5, calculate. So I'm going to go set a buy. If AVAX hits $13.08, buy 0.47 AVAX. Great. Now, if AVAX drops to 2.46, get out of my position. If AVAX pumps to 27.24, sell my 0.47 AVAX. Boom, that trade is set. Moving on to the next. So you understand how you can look at your risk profile, your management, set it accordingly. You can buy spot bags, and after you buy your spot bags, you have your target, set it accordingly. Or you can preset perpetual and future contracts in an almost set it, forget it fashion. I mean, frogs fuck, Thor prints.
Thor fucking slaps.
And it just keeps getting to be a better and better user experience and interface with upgrades and tools and things like this. And now just imagine when this is open to other commodities, when this is open to Forex, when this is open to stocks, and people are paying subscription models and things for stuff like that. That's,
I'm feeling froggish.
Fucking right. So K10, excellent questions about risk management. As I said, risk management is the most important thing I'm going to talk about on this stream. If people walk away with one thing, it's you need to manage the risk of your trades and of your profile so you can continue to trade and continue to hit profit points, right? You're not always going to be right. But when you're wrong, make your losses small. When you're right, make sure you're taking gains at optimal points. And that's what THOR helps us do.
Indeed. And if you don't mind, I do have a question with regard to the trajectory of THOR and the end game, because I'm personally very impressed by what it's done and how accurate it is. And I think that there is an incredible potential here. That being said, with regard to its its algorithmic potential and the algorithms that we know other large companies like BlackRock and Grayscale are deploying, is there a potential for THOR to understand its own market moves? Could THOR, if enough money was deposited in it, become a market maker in and of itself? And does THOR
it very well
have
could become
the
a whale
capacity?
itself.
Yeah, does it have the capacity to understand its own moves in that regard? I mean, I
Absolutely.
find it absolutely fascinating.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's the thing. If we can get THOR and auto THOR with enough liquidity to where we are a whale wallet, where we are becoming somewhat of a market maker, and help establish some of these levels that it's calling already, I just see it triggering its levels even faster.
See, this to me is it's music to my ears, because it's a decentralized, frog-based strike back at the empire, right? At all those things. We know they're all doing it. They all have in-house quants. They all have their in-house algorithms. And if THOR can come to the table, oh my goodness, that would just make my degenerate heart, my
I don't
decentralized heart,
think
so
that the
fucking happy.
markets are random. I think they're market makers. They move with intention and purpose. And the reason that they do so is because of human emotions. Human emotions are repeatable. Either your fear and greed are the strongest human emotions to play off of, and they can repeatedly play on those emotions and get the outcome that they want. So they repeatedly play the system over and over. And when you understand that and you get a little peek behind the curtain and you understand the levels and you understand the market flow, you're on a different level. And when you then have a tool like THOR that specifically calls out such entry points and levels to where you then, those levels are revealed to you much earlier. The potential moves are made to you earlier. It's powerful as fuck. And when you say endgame, sorry, there is no end game. It's constant evolution. That's our goal, is constant evolution. There is no final product. Everything with frogs and THOR is going to just continually evolve because the markets do, right? The way the markets move are, just like you said, you got to take into account that they have the smartest brains, the smartest computers, and everything else, helping them figure out how to establish these levels and manipulate these markets, right? Absolutely, they do.
Well,
So
they have the smartest brains available for purchase in that market, but we have the smartest brains available who believe in decentralization and who believe in taking down Wall Street and truly giving monetary power back to the people. I believe that, and I think it's amazing, and I think that there's so much success because yes, I mean it's a lot to fight against, but and you know, for any governmental agencies that might be listening, what I mean by fighting is
Frogs fuck.
yeah, well, fighting.
well,
actually,
resistance.
yeah.
Fuck them, because frogs fuck.
I think it's amazing. Yeah. Well, but
If the
we have got
government
some of the
is
most brilliant
listening,
minds.
if the government is listening, all I gotta say is I lost all my Bitcoin in a boating accident.
Mom,
I was there, and I was so sad about that. Thank goodness
It was
managed
rough.
to get off that. Yeah, it was. I mean, it was.
Yeah, Mo, that shit looked like a Michael Bay movie. That legend ain't coming back, bro.
It's part of a coral reef now.
I saw your attempt to save your wallet, David Hasselhoff style, but respect.
I was waiting for Pam Anderson, but she never showed up. Kind Kong. So I'm not going to place an actual trade on stream because I don't log in with my actual accounts, all that kind of stuff. Just for safety purposes, I'm not going to reveal my accounts and everything else. I can show you exactly, how you would do it. Let's see. Can I do it on Drift? I think you can trade perpetuals and all on Drift.
Yeah, I'm doing perpetuals on Drift.
I don't know if it'll let me set it up without being signed in or something. I can probably just connect to this wallet, even though I have no money in it. I'm not actually trading.
But for me, it's showing maintenance mode, so the market actions, I don't know, crashed Drift, I don't know. Yeah, for me, it's maintenance mode.
Mine, it looks like it's showing. All right, we'll see what I can show you here at least. All right, so at least from what we can see here, right? You know, we had that Cyber Frog, THOR call for Sol, $92. I'm gonna just hit the risk management. I'm gonna go to calculate, hit 5. Can you guys see this when I change between applications, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Wait, are you
So,
on? Are
I'm
you
gonna
meaning to
buy-
show your plan your trade? Is that what you're meaning to show?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I was just making sure.
So I'm going to buy 0.34 Sol at 92.56. Right? So that's 0.34, 92.56. So it's not going to let me log in. So you could put a limit order and you'd enter the amount of Sol here. You would enter the price, $92.56, right? That's the price. And you would put the amount of Sol that you wanted to buy right here. So that's where I would put the 0.35 Sol. Now, after that executes, that'll come down here in positions. And I'll have an open position of 0.35 Sol that bought at 92.56. Once I have that position here, it'll give me an option to add a stop loss and take profit. Now that the position's open, I'll be able to click on it here in positions. I'll see it as an open position. I'll click on take profit, stop loss, and I'll enter those two numbers. Hopefully, I'm sorry for kind call. Dope fucking frog, by the way. That thing's fucking killer. Yeah, so that's how you could do it on Drift. You could go in and you could set your limit. So you set the price that you wanted to buy, and then you set the amount that you wanted to buy, and then you'll hit buy long. And then once it triggers that position, then you can go in and you can add your stop loss and take profit. Now, some exchanges, you can set all that up first. You'll be able to, maybe you can here, take profit limit. No.
Can you go on market again? Then,
so market.
Okay. Usually there's a small field. When you click on it, you can type into TP1 and into stop loss. But now it's not showing. Maybe you have, I don't know why.
I think it's just because I don't have any money or an actual real account in here. It's not giving me all the options. But yeah, so some of them, when you go to this, you'll be able to put the limit, the amount that you want to buy, and the stop loss and the take profit. So if it goes ahead and opens the position, it already has your take profit and your stop loss set. What exchange is best for newbies? It depends where in the world you are as to what exchanges you are allowed to even use. Honestly, Australia, I don't even know what you're allowed to use down there. I don't know what the crypto laws and regulations are. Drift, I know some people, you can use everything.
If you had
I would
KuCoin?
look to something that has, you know, good liquidity. I don't have many options where I am, and need to look decentralized, but I know a lot of people trade with Binance, and Binance has good liquidity. I know, yeah, I haven't used a whole lot of different ones because I'm not allowed to. So I'm not the best person to ask on that, honestly.
It really depends on your central, like if you're looking for decentralized or centralized as well.
Exactly.
That's a big determining factor on what you want to look at.
Yeah. So if you're linking your Soul wallet, you know, you're trading decentralized and stuff like that. Now, if you're using Binance or something you're connecting your bank to, now you're looking more centralized exchange. Not financial advice. Do your own research, you know, as well with everything on this. But yeah, do your own research. I'm not going to advocate what you should use where just because there's a lot of legal differences, and I don't want to give anyone any wrong information.
You got Sesh asking about the U.S. If you know any of the
U.S.
for you.
You know, the U.S. it is strict. Not financial advice. Do your own research, but
VPN.
Heard of people using VPNs and being able to access other things. But in the U.S., again, not financial advice. You know, you can get on Drift and do things decentralized and stuff like that because you're not going through a centralized exchange. Again, I'm not advocating for anything. DYDX, I personally don't know anything about it. I've never used it, so I can't give you any feedback. Might be great. I'm not saying one way or another. I honestly just don't know. So,
and feel free to ask that too in the chat of like Neo Tokyo Sesh. Like I bet there's some homies in the Frogs fam who have used that and are more than willing to give some feedback on it.
Yeah, you'll get a much better consensus from them. So yeah, we've gone a little. Yeah, we went with the 101 and then we went a little deeper. Great questions. I appreciate all of them. Does anyone have any questions on using THOR and risk management and that type of stuff and questions about that specifically before I do pull up some charts? Because, you know, we got to get DGen and look.
I'm about to say, is it time for DGen? Woo!
The market's gone fucking moving. We got to look at them.
I have one beginner.
Best time ever.
Okay, hang on one sec. Sesh, that is exactly what I want to hear. Manual THOR finally makes sense. Because it is so simple once you understand how to use it, right? But until you understand, wait a minute, how is it calling a long and calling a short? Well, you got to know that there's games of levels and there's take profit points, you know, and why it is calling them, and understanding how to use it, you know, is simple once you understand. But that's exactly what I want to get out of these sessions is people understanding how THOR works and understanding how to use it themselves to make money. That's the fucking ultimate out of this. Abby, I'm sorry I cut you off. I just wanted to get that out.
Yeah. Can you show us how we get the RSI and the EMA set up in TradingView, like you have it?
Yeah, I'll get to that when I pull up charts. Before I do, anything specific on THOR and risk management before I move on to charts? Anything specific on them?
Not specific, but
and Zach Legend, you're hot micing, bro. Thank you. Feel free to jump on and ask if you got a question. Feel free to jump on and ask. But I just want to let you know you're hot.
Just in general, I'd like to say that if you didn't get it the first time, don't worry. This is my third or fourth time listening. Just keep listening. Just keep participating in these sessions. If you don't feel confident asking your question, that's cool. I mean, you should feel completely confident because this is the safest space that exists on the internet when it comes to Web3 investing. But if you don't, just keep listening. I'm still trying to understand what is happening, but every time I tune into one of these sessions, I'm like, okay, yes, another piece of the puzzle has been filled in, another aspect has been clarified. So don't feel bad if you don't understand it all. And God bless the folks who log in and are like, fuck yeah, I fucking understand it. Amazing. That's great. But if you don't, they're here for you. Talk in the chat. It's one of the best FAMs on the entire Web3 platform, I promise you. And I love it. And thank you so much, Mode, for the time.
We love you,
devote
K10.
to this. Oh, I love you guys so much. It's unbelievable how wonderful and accepting you are. But if you guys don't understand it, don't worry about it. Just keep hammering at it, because the point is they're here for generational wealth. We're all here for it. And we're here to lift up. And if you are here, you can hear it in these guys' voices that they're here for it. But if you don't fucking get it, an aspect of it, just keep hammering at it, fam. Do not fucking stop. Because these guys are here for you. I promise you.
Well, that's one of the biggest factors too. Like you said, keep hammering at it. And, when you hear me review these charts and things, you'll hear me say things as if they're so simple and matter of fact. And it's because I've made all the fucking mistakes. And I still make some of them, right? I'm fucking human, and I'm a degen, and I am not the most disciplined motherfucker. Like, if you know some of the wild, crazy shit that I do in real life, you'd be like, yeah, that guy's not all put the fucking together. So it's you have to keep in mind when I'm speaking that I'm saying these things matter of fact and plain, as if they're easy to see, because I've seen it so many times by making those mistakes so many times. What I'm trying to put together here is what I wish I had 4 to 5 years ago, when I'm staring at charts saying, what in the fuck? Why does it even go from green to red? What does this candle do? Like, I don't, just not understanding shit, but wanting to learn more, right? I'm trying to create the session that I wish I had years ago through what I have learned through the years. And keep it relatively basic, right? Like, I want it. I know my charts look crazy, but I'm trying to keep it relatively basic.
Bro, I agree with every single thing you just said, except, I don't know, man, we're not very degen here, but when are we looking at chunky,
We'll get to we'll get there in a moment. So for those that are new, here's our Trader Tuesday record, right? And like to just say, you look at some of these points we were buying and taking profits in and everything else. And then you look at when we said buy to get ready because we got the break in the retest of the long run. Didn't mean to move that. And we've continued to just move. And yeah, a lot of this looks confusing as shit, but you know, the way we left off stream last week, we were somewhere we were right here, right? Monday, Tuesday. Yep, we were right here. So we were saying, are we going to break out from this purple downtrend? You know, because as you see, we were getting high, lower, low, lower, high. Did this form the lower high, or were we going to break out? And you see, we've got the breakout, and now we have a retest, which is pretty fucking insane, right? But not uncanny. It's, you know, the break and the retest happened exactly the way it should. We just got a massive pump in there. But we had a THOR short call here, and this was our take profit. A THOR short call here, that was our take profit. And a THOR short call here with the take profit. And we executed all of those in one pump and one dump. We don't now, but at that time, we also had THOR long calls. So we had this line drawn about potential pump up if we break out. And we had this line drawn if we continue down that we could fill, you know, hit the lower low and fill this zone, hit the lower low and then fill this THOR call, right? So, yeah, I am going to pull up some brand new charts and just put some absolute basic lines on it in just a moment. But yeah, let's go over some of our DGen charts real quick because I don't want to make this stream too much longer than I do. Actually, let me do that right now. I'm going to go to a fresh chart for Sol. And I'm going to go to the daily and just the extreme macro view. And I'm going to put just a couple lines in for break and retest of macros, right? So you see here after it dropped lower, we'd include that point. So once we get the break and the retest there, we'd actually be start of our uptrend like so and like so. So this is looking at Solana all the way back to 2001, keep in mind. So once we got these big downtrends break, and we've been finding higher lows and higher highs, even though they've been micro, we're finding higher highs and higher lows. So you see what happened once we broke the downtrend. And you don't really want to enter until we're really breaking the downtrend. Now the same thing is happening with our uptrend, right? As long as we're holding this and moving up, we're really looking at holding the uptrend, right? It may take several months again or a year until this breaks. But that's our macro trend. So how we normally view the charts is here on the 4 hour, right? And here on the 4 hour, you're going to see not only the big fat macro line, actually the big fat macro line like that, but then you're going to see us, because we're trading within the week, you're going to see trend lines like this. Oh shit, that's what I meant. Yeah. And this I don't have log, just because a lot of people were asking about the logarithmic and don't use logarithmic. So these charts I'm not going to. But you see how we have the micro trend lines that we trade week to week that are within are macro. So this is what I mean. This is a perfect example of time frame indicator, right? So it'd be a good time to go short here and make 30%, right? That sounds like a good idea. But if you're viewing macro, why would you want to be going short when we're in this crazy uptrend? That's what I mean. What is your goal? To make some money right now? To make money on a downward move that's 30%? Or are you waiting for the micro downward move that was 90%? Are you trying to catch this micro pump that ended up being 20 to 50% right here? Or are you looking at the macro move where we've already gone 400% so far, right? That's the difference in time frame. Are you looking at a daily chart and trading every couple months, few weeks to couple months? Or are you in a 4-hour chart and making trades every couple days to couple weeks? You see the difference? But we're going to focus on the 4-hour and the daily right now. So how I'm going to set up my chart is I'm going to go to Solana and I'm going to look at this daily call, 92, 89, 92, 56. So I'm going to go down here. I'm going to get the appropriate tool. It's the rectangle. 92, 89 or close to. I'm going to have to zoom in a lot. This is why I usually use logarithmic charts, but it's fine. I'll use this because 92, 89, 92, 56, I think it was. Damn close to. So this is going to be my entry point where I want to enter that THOR long. Now, what was my take profit on that? I'll go back in. My take profit was 111.95. So I'm going to draw another box, come up here to 111, close to 95. And I'm going to draw another box. And I know this is my box for the potential trade to take place. So I know if we enter and fill this, this is where I want to look to take profit, right? Now we have another one that is way lower, but I'll go ahead and look. 39.41, 29.80. $39.41 to $29.80. I'm going to make that green because that's my entry zone, right? And then I'm going to draw another box, my take profit for that, 78.89. Fuck yeah, let's go. I want to see it. That's my take profit point if we execute that call.
Mo, what was your saying? I can't remember exactly what it is with the being on the right side of probability. What is it that you say again?
So profitable trading, being a profitable trader comes down to two things. It comes down to proper risk management and finding yourself on the proper side of probability, on the right side. If you're going up, finding yourself on the right side of probability of it going up to is where you want to be. THOR helps you manage your risk and puts you on the right side of probability, because about 70% plus of the time that it hits this green zone, it's going to hit the gray box. So it helps put you on the right side of probability, and it also helps you manage your profit or manage your risk, and that is profitable trading. So I'll say it again: profitable trading is proper risk management and finding yourself on the right side of probability. That's what our indicators, our charts, and what THOR does is help put us on the right side of probability. You know, if we're guessing heads, put us on heads instead of, being tails. Right side of probability. Now manage your risk properly, and that's how you fucking make money. All right, so there's our SOL long calls, our THOR long calls. So I'll go ahead and even mark these. Add text. THOR long. THOR long. It's got the extra because this one's going long. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's how I like to break down my charts, to where I can see visually where I think price action is going to go. If price drops down to this point, look for it to retest, which to me, looking at the market, you look at our macro trend lines, right? If you look at our macro uptrend here and you look at our macro downtrend here, our macro uptrend down here, right? What I could see is a potential market movement if we do take a, trend down, right? Is we could see something where we get the break and the retest, right? So there's THOR call 1 filled. Come down, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, and then either make the lower low or find support and then go up. But either way, you see how that would be our downtrend. Wait, fucker. You see how that would be a downtrend and how we would fill the long call and hit take profit. So this is why THOR would be calling a long with a take profit in a down market. This is why THOR would be calling an entry and a take profit point at resistance in a down market, right? THOR's not saying if we hit this point, go long because we're going to fucking Valhalla. It's saying no, buy and take profit at the resistance point. Buy, take profit at resistance point, because we may go down from here still and just shit the fucking bed, or we may find support here on our long-term support, and this be the start of our now uptrend, right? Maybe this will be the start of where we see our uptrend begin. But that's how I see levels move and THOR calls fill, right? And I'm not saying because THOR has these calls down here, we're going down, right? If we go back and we look at our last charts, right? We had same thing. We had big long calls where we said, hey, if we go down, we're going to look to fill these calls. But instead we went up, right? But we had a trend line and an indicator, right? That was our indication, was our trend line. But this just gives you levels. We don't know which direction we're going. We're just preparing for whichever direction we may go.
I did have a question, quick mode, on that. Not this chart, but the other one where you had this one. So that first, level of what would be a THOR long, and then you take profit on the top of that box. So I guess for me, since there's TP1, TP2, TP3, and THOR does tell me what those levels are. But how, I guess you just can't get, it's just easier saying you just can't get greedy. But how would I know exactly, or how can I better align my acknowledgement of, indicators on when I should probably take more profit on a take profit level on where that long went to, right? If that makes sense.
I'm going to make a hypothetical right now.
Yeah.
Right. This was our THOR entry zone. Right.
Yeah.
Here was TP1. Right. Again, this is all hypothetical, right? So right here, the THOR call filled. Okay, you're waiting for the take profit. We get to take profit, and it looks like we found support and we're starting to rip. Right? Now, if take profit was right here, and you can see we're really dancing and finding resistance on it, maybe you just want to take profit at level 1, right? If there's some type of resistance. But if you're seeing that, man, we are just steady ripping, sell a third of your bag and then set a stop loss, right? To make sure you're not going to lose any more of it. But if it continues to rip, you can make more gains out of it. Does that make sense?
So just to make sure I get it, it's basically if it dances around and it looks like it's hitting resistance, you might want to take more relative profit versus if it just blows through it, you might want to just take less profit because it might keep going. If
the profit looks like it's at resistance, then yes, you probably want to take profit. If you look like, man, I don't see resistance, but now you're using your own indicators and you're also changing the accuracy of THOR and everything else and whatever. So, that's your own type of trading.
Mm-hmm. I was just curious because it's hard to that's another layer in of realizing what indicators for me to take more profit or instead of waiting on TP3, just if it seems like it it's bouncing around on resistance, then I'm going to take more of my profit instead of trying to wait.
If it looks like it's on a total rip, then scale out. But if it looks like, man, I'm hoping it gets to profit point. If you're like, man, I'm really hoping it gets up there, then maybe it's time to just close out that trade. If you're like, oh, dude, we're blowing through this, then scale out, right?
Okay.
Yeah, but use that at least as a point of reference and a point to take out some emotion so to at least take some. Matt, fuck yeah, let's go. I love seeing people print money.
Fucking printing over here while we're just chilling.
Yeah, love it. Okay, so now we'll go back to our DGen chart. Okay, before I do, here is our new Solana chart that we're kind of looking at with our 2 THOR calls. Again, this was all hypothetical. All we have at this point is we have our short-term line short-term downtrend, our shorter-term uptrend, our long-term uptrends, and our THOR calls. Does anyone have questions on this chart right here? Oh, Abby, you
Yeah, I have a
had
question.
yeah,
I
you had
want that.
questions about the indicators, right?
Yeah, I want that it look like yours. Yeah, because of the EMA and the RSI, how do I set it up?
So you'll go up here to indicators, right?
Okay.
The EMA that I used was this EMA 20, 50, 100, 200 with long as area. Now, I did go into the settings and change some things, which I can show you real quick. I go to settings.
Yeah, once you get it added, you'll see he followed it on his left screen, and you just follow and hit that little cog, what looks like a cog.
Yeah, you have your drop down right here for your indicators. You hit the cog for your settings.
Okay.
And then if you want to go ahead and just set it up just like that real quick.
Yeah, set it up like modes. That's what I did.
Make the middle one white and the bottom blue. And so for anyone new watching this, you'll hear me. The white EMA estimating moving average reacts sooner. The blue is the longer term and moves a little bit slower. And one of the reasons I make the blue is just in my, Neanderthal brain that you're taking trading advice from. I think of it as I don't want to be underwater, right? I want to be above water. So that blue line, I don't want to be underwater. I want to be above water, which is showing me bullish activity as long as I'm above water. When I start dancing below or sinking below, that's when I start to get concerned. So yeah. Now financial advice, do your own research. You're looking at a guy that draws lines on a chart.
I don't get the same style options.
Did you add this same exact one, EMA 20, 50, 100 with longer as area?
Maybe.
You might have added a different one or something.
Okay.
And then also about your scale mode for like RSI and other stuff too, as well. Whenever we get to that.
There are a lot of EMAs.
Oh,
I can also help you set it up too, Abby, if you can't figure it out.
I can help you set it up off stream too, Abby. Where I can look at your screen and go through it.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, so here's what we're looking at for Solana right now. You see where our long calls and our take profits are. You see where our uptrend, where we've been ripping is. And we're, looking extremely bullish right now. Let me pull up last week. There are the charts we were going over before. We'll degen real quick, and then I'm going to close up. This looks extremely crazy now. There we go. All right, so let's see. What do we have? Someone asked about QG. I don't know if that's still important or not, but it looks like we're still making the higher highs, higher lows. Actually, we do have a lower low right here. That could be our first indicator, but we're still on trend. We're retesting the RSI. That still looks not too bad to me. ADA, man, tell me they don't play levels. Remember, we talked about this level right here as the bounce and break up. And damn, if we didn't bounce up off of it and come down and tap exactly the same, right? Tell me market makers don't play games. Injective protocol. Injective, remember we were talking about this top here, this hard resistance line right here, right? We were talking about that being the hard resistance, how we've been caught inside this level. Sure enough, if you bought down here on the support, you hit that hard resistance, and now we came back to the hard support and found support on it. I mean, it's been playing this game for a while of spiking the lows, spiking the highs, and still playing that game. So there you go. Pith. Pith, in my opinion, is one of the coins that I'm soon looking to add more to my bags, because while everything else looks jacked the fuck up, Pith, while on basically a pretty nice run since its inception, hasn't had the insane blow up of the market reaction like most coins have, to where I think it still has a lot more room to move. It's just being ignored right now. I'm not saying right now is the time to buy, but I'm saying taking profits on things like Bonk, which we'll look at, moving on to places like Pith is maybe not a bad idea. B&B, I don't know who asked about B&B.
All I'm saying is I didn't hear NFA, so gotcha, bitch.
Everything is not financial advice. Do your own research. So I said, if you're taking advice from a guy that draws lines because he doesn't want his EMA to be, priced to be underwater, that's my Neanderthal brain at work. If you choose to take a financial advice from that, that's on you, bruh. Man, our Galacol is still ripping, and honestly is really just got in and looked to be finding support on our zone, right? Because we said, where was our first take profit? Right here before the blue line. So we just hit our take profit 1. Where is our take profit 2 and close? Right here under the green line. So if you watch, again, this was the major break and retest. We knew that first move was going to give us 100%. Congratulations. Look to buy on support again somewhere. Take the rest of your profits or close out some of that up here at the 220%. Remember, we called that right here. Once we had this top, we had the breakout. So we had the bottom, we had the break, we had the top. We were calling for our retest to be in this gold buy zone, and we hit that motherfucker perfect. GMT. GMT, we had made a call that had gone up. We were saying ultimate long-term resistance, we're looking up here at 100%, as long as we're still following these higher highs, higher lows, which it did make a big spike, came back down, but is back in profit and still moving. Didn't stop us out, didn't hit take profit. Moving on. OMI. Good load.
OMI, my lord.
OMI, we got to go to a daily.
OMI, my homie.
To look at OMI. Because we were calling this as our buy zone, which was pretty fucking spot on. And you see where our first line of resistance is, and you see all 3 times we've hit it, we've found resistance. So even from the top of our buy zone to that resistance right there was a clean 80%. Congratulations. However, this is a token you may want to consider for long term. And if you do, even from here, we're looking at another, 300% back to resistance. Which one? It was Gala. Gala looking long term. Yes, we talked about taking profits here at 100 and 200%. That's taking profits to reload. Because remember, from our buy zone, or forget the buy zone, even just from here, we're looking at another 1,200% plus back to all-time high. So if this is one you believe in for the long term, we do have a big run and big retest on this, but you don't go broke taking profits at 100 and 200% up, having free money to leave in the market, or reloading on support. Remember, we want to buy on supports, not buy into pumps. DGen, what did you say you wanted to look at Chonky?
Yeah, boy.
Chonky, our Chonky recap. Oh, damn. You see, we had our load up zone. You know, we had this first one, and after we fell through, we said, this is our ultimate fill your bag zone. We did fill our bag in that zone. And I mean, once we got, you can see, once we got the break of downtrend, it just ripped. It did retest that zone perfectly. Look how it topped it. Look how it bottomed it. Look how it found support. That's where we added that trend line, right? Connecting bottom. We ultimately want to see this or relatively about this hold. We may be seeing a drop, or we're just seeing volatility in the market. But our first, you know, we knew we were going to have resistance here. We knew we were going to have resistance right here, which you see we are touching now. And then, you know, we're going to hit another hard resistance once we hit that all-time high. But all of our zones hit pretty much perfect with Chonky as far as our buy, where we were going to see first resistance, where we see reload, where we see resistance. So I honestly think this may come down a little bit more, and we may see Chonky come back and test support right here. So, you know, my ultimate buy
So
box,
buy on support.
what I'd be looking at is somewhere in there on support if we hold it, or, you know, in this zone, really. That's where I'm looking to reload. Here's where I was looking to take profits.
You got Calvin was saying NOS in OS.
I don't know anything about NOS. Actually, I think we did talk about
I think we looked at this once.
NOS. What do I see on NOS? I see it's fucking got a killer uptrend, but it is testing and in a major test right now, right? Here's our uptrend. You can see each time we've broke the down, it's fucking rocketed. We had our shorter uptrend, right? It's kind of somewhere, yeah, like that. We've got the break and the retest of it. I would not be looking to go long until we break this line, which could happen like fucking immediately. I'm not saying it's going to take forever, but we look like we're on support, but I don't want to go long until we break that line here, until we break this red line. You see, we're in a major price wedge right now, and we could literally break out of it like within hours. So, but I don't want to go long on this until I break this clearly established support, which could happen right now and find support on the long, or we may see price action continue down here, do something like this, and then when it breaks and finds support on that break and retest, that's where I'd look to go long.
When you get a chance,
gotta
you
look
take a
at
look at Bonk and Win.
We'll look at when, Jupe, and Bonk, and then that's probably about it. When You see the same thing. We had the downtrend and then we went sideways. We've been finding support and finding support. Looks like we're retesting the initial
Previous
top,
all-time
right?
high.
So
Yeah.
what was resistance becomes support.
Wait, sorry,
right?
Mitch. Which did you just do to create that line? Sorry. When you clicked, is it just
horizontal red.
that? Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah. So you can see what was our resistance. We are now testing to see if it becomes a support. When is ultimately looking pretty much like everything else, looking fucking strong, but had a major correction, but looks to be on support again, right? So if you're not in, again, I would wait until we are breaking this to look to go long. And it could happen right now. I'm not saying it's going to take a long time. Like this could hold up as resistance, or we could break it very soon. So watch for that. Jupe. Jupe, you see we had called our downtrend, right? We had made our price wedge. We had made what we thought was our bottom and ultimate accumulation. You see, we found support on that zone. And we said, once we break this, expect what? What we drew here, the break and the retest. Now, did we expect it to be this drastic? Not really. But we've got what? The break and we've got the retest and look to be on longer term support and moving up. We knew we were going to hit resistance here, right? This is why I sold here in the first place and then looked to buy back down here, right? Now we knew we were going to hit resistance here, but looks like we're finding strong support. There's also more and more Jupe being locked up. My opinion, Jupe is looking pretty good. I like it. It's one of the few shit tokens, and I'm calling it a shit token just because of what it is compared to market cap and overall ecosystem. It's a shit token, but I like it. I'm holding it. I'm investing in it because it has real use case. Bonk, fucking ballistic, right? You remember we drew this zone, and this is where I had taken profits on some of the free bonk I got. And this is where the zone I said I wanted to start to reaccumulate. Anyone that's been on my stream, I've been talking about this accumulation bonk for zone for quite a while. Rumpty, I've made this circle literally when I text you about it the first time, saying we're in accumulation phase, start accumulating. Rumpty started buying $1 of bonk every day throughout this period since like January. Right?
A dollar a day in bonk keeps the doctor away, man, you know?
So, and you see, once we did break this zone and then found support on it, we fucking ripped. And, you know, 100, we're still sitting at 93%, but we went up to 200%, right? 200% profit. I hope you at least took a little bit of profit in the zone. I did sell a little bit up here, and I actually already bought back in with some of it here. Now, ultimately, what I should have done, like I was just advocating to you, and I will still advocate to you, I would like to see this break to really get back in. But, you know, when I was able to get back in, at I think it was close to 50% lower. It was very close to 50% lower, somewhere down here. Like I made the play about as good as you could. I just took advantage of it in case we do just find support and run. So that's what I went with. What else? I think that's it, right? Yeah, we're gonna say
you
that's
think
it.
we
We're
could look
gonna go
at?
back to solo.
You think we could look at NOS?
Yeah, we just did look at NOS, right? Yeah.
Did it? No way. Did it crash when I was doing it? I had a moment that I was losing signal.
I think I looked. Is this the right one? Right symbol and all?
Yeah, Nosana. Yeah, that's the one.
Okay. So here's what I was saying is we've got strong support. It's been moving. We did break the temporary uptrend. We are in a temporary or shorter term downtrend, but it looks like we could be on our big support, right? What I would want to see is this could continue to break down. So all I want to see, just like I was explaining on Jupe, if I want to invest in this, all I want to see before I do is the break and the retest. I want to see it break the downtrend. I want to see it make a retest. That may happen right here, right now, while we're on this support, right? That may not happen until down here, right? I don't know yet. But I don't want to buy in long until I see this downtrend get broke. And one way or another, we're about to break out of this price wedge. So you're going to see probably it either break and retest like that, or you're going to see it break and retest like that. And if we break and retest like that, I don't want to enter long until I do see this. You get what I'm saying? Wherever this occurs, anywhere that this occurs, that's where I'm looking for the break and retest of the downtrend.
That makes perfect sense. Thank you.
For sure. All right. Going back to our Marketflow new chart. Nice and clean. We've got our long-term daily trend lines. We'll zoom in a little closer into 4 hour. And here's what we're looking at on the 4 hour. We've got a THOR long call down here at our support. And we've got a THOR long call right where we could potentially see exactly what I just showed you on NOS. If we get, somewhere up here, if we get the break, we'll see that spot where we then make a retest, right? So THOR is calling, if we do get the break of trend and we do hit $93, look for us to retest 111 before we either then blow through the roof and continue to Valhalla, or that could be the resistance again. Right? So that's what we're looking at right now for THOR. We've got 2 long calls. If THOR dips, look for the pump up to 111. If THOR makes a big retest down here into the 30 range, which, wow, there's no way we're going back into here, right? Well, let me show you something back from our Frogs Fuck Tuesday trader review on Solana. I've had this gold box drawn for quite some time that I've been saying I want to see THOR revisit, and I think it's going to revisit 4 buys in here and where my ultimate buy is, because the way I see the levels moving, because the way I saw the top, what was resistance, get broken through and never again tested as support. I was saying on that long-term support, you see the long-term support, we could see the retest here, right? And that would be my ultimate buy zone. Look at where this zone is, $32 to $37. Now, what was that THOR call? we'll go back and see what the THOR call was. $30 to $39 on that long-term support. Now, I was able to see that long ago from my own TA of where we blew through this area. You see, we weren't in that zone, right? We kept finding rejection on this zone, rejecting this zone, rejection. You're going to tell me as soon as we finally get through it, we never visit it again? That sounds like fucking market maker games to me. Now we're pumped out the ass. We could take a dump here. We could take a dump of 70% and still be bullish. We could take a 70% dump and still be on our long-term uptrend and bullish. That's fucking market maker games for you. I'm not saying we will, but I really like to see that THOR has now posted this as a call because I saw that call in my own TA, and you guys have been here on Trader Tuesday and on live stream have heard me talk about that zone how many different times because it just didn't seem natural how we left it without retesting it. And now THOR is calling for what? Retest into that zone, right back up to the biggest spike in price action we had, where what did we do? We left the fucking zone and then retested it. What was resistance became support. We're going to test it as resistance again. You see how THOR uses data points to make these calls. It's not random. We're exposing the fucking market makers and taking advantage of them and not being the ones that FOMO in, but the ones that bought in these bottoms and are taking profits when everyone else is moonboying in at the fucking tops. That's the power of THOR and understanding your own TA. All right, y'all, I'm spent. I actually thought I'm like, oh, I'm going to keep this a light, easy 101 stream for the first of...
It's been one of the best ones yet, bro.
Flow. And we ripped into it fucking hard, which is, you know, just kind of my attitude and how it always ends up being. But this is awesome. Do me a favor, please. Everybody in here, if you gained something from this, if you gained anything from this trader session, please just go onto Twitter, just anything that you learn, anything at all that you learn, just mention you learned it and MF THOR, right? Motherfucking THOR. Just
do that and post it in the Twitter Raids channel. Post it in the Twitter Raids channel. Tag Mode, tag Cyberfrogs. Hit it with an exclamation mark MF, little exclamation mark frogs fuck, and then throw it in Twitter Raids so the homies can all raid it. Go into the Twitter Raids and show the love by liking and commenting on each, and that will push that shit into the algorithm. Just push that shit. Because Mode is giving his time and all this value, and it's the least that we can fucking do, to be honest. Like, it is wild, the value that you get back from just coming here, and to K10's point, like repetition will build your reinforcement of understanding. It is truly like Mode. We cannot thank you enough. Seriously, like frogs, fuck, yeah, you're a fucking goat for real. You've changed my life already. If frogs fucking rug tomorrow, I would have more value out of this than I would have had out of any other project I've been in, and that's an testament to you, man, for real.
Real talk.
Appreciate that, dude. I like I said, I'm just trying to provide what I wish I had so many years ago and fumbled my bags so many times that I was determined to learn from my mistakes, and I have. This is my first run where I really think I understand the market now too. I'm not going to say, Oh, I've made my millions. I'm sitting on a yacht. And if you just listen to me, you guys will kill it. Send me $29.99 a week and I'll tell you how to do it. That's not what the fuck this is. This is, hey, I found this tool called THOR. It's helped me with my trading tremendously. I'm going to show you what I do, and hopefully it helps you too. That's what this is. Am I going to be in NYC? Yes, I plan on being in NYC probably only for one day. And I don't know which one yet, though. I'm kind of waiting to see if Andy or Frogs put something together, because that's the day I'll be there.
Yeah, yo, keep us tuned in on it, because I'm going to definitely be going one day.
Word. Yeah, but
meantime,
please, like I said, if you guys learn something from this, like, that's how we make our cyber frogs more valuable. This is how we make Kira more valuable, is let people know we are making money and consistently, not on some, oh, did you make that call that popped 100%? Yeah, we made 100 of them that didn't fucking go anywhere, but this one rocketed. Let's raid Twitter. No, we are making consistent gains and consistent moves with THOR from week to fucking week. We want Kira to be more valuable. We want our frogs to be more valuable. Motherfucking THOR, Marketflow, powered by THOR, presented by Mode. Let's fucking go.
Bang, bang.
Frogs fuck.
Yeah, that's a trademark right there. Sheesh!
That's it. That's what we got. Crypto Kaz, glad to have you in here, bro. Good seeing you. We'll catch up, man. Yeah, I appreciate everybody that joined for this first session. I hope it gets bigger. The fact that many of you come back week to week means you're learning week to week and not just it's the same basic shit. And once you heard it, you heard it. We're learning together, we're earning together, and all I fucking want is my freedom to not have to go in some place at some time to make money for someone else on their fucking clock with my life. I want financial freedom. And that's what I'm trying to help you guys gain as well. If you can learn to consistently make money, then you can do consistently and regularly what you choose to do with your fucking life. And to me, that is true wealth. Wealth is being able to choose what you do with your time. And that's what I'm trying to make here. Frogs fuck, THOR Prince.
Appreciate
that's all
you,
I gotta
man.
say. I appreciate all of you.
Can't say it
Have
enough.
a good night, guys.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thanks, y'all.
Frogs fuck.
Motherfucking THOR.